Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Hope everyone's doing well. And in today's video, we are going to be giving you a little recap about the last 3 months that we have spent in France. So stay tuned. Make sure that you take the time to subscribe to the channel and check out our other videos if you want to do so. And make sure to follow us on social media as well. And without further ado, we're gonna jump right into the video. Okay, so our first month that we're going to start with is September. This is the month that we arrived in France and began our stay. We started at an Airbnb in a city called Reims. It was a great Airbnb, awesome view, very good location. We have an article all about these 3 months, so you can check out the Airbnb on our website.
So we each had a very full backpack, an extremely full large suitcase, and an even more extremely full small suitcase. So altogether, what's that? That's 6 bags total. Yeah,
6 bags total. We filled the big suitcase to the maximum, which was 50 pounds. And then we put everything else that we owned in the small suitcase.
Which was probably also pushing 50 pounds.
Yeah, you can see what we packed and everything in our suitcases in our other video, where we show you everything we packed. We packed everything that we owned. So we were walking to this Airbnb. The streets were full of cobblestone. I was worried my wheels were gonna fall off. It was crazy. And at that point, it hadn't gotten cold yet, so it was still kind of warm. So I was sweating, of course,
not to mention
for no reason.
That we also didn't know where we were going. So we had the GPS in one hand and the suitcases on our arms and just dragging it along, bumping into people.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But we finally made it to the Airbnb and everything was awesome. We told the host that we had arrived. She came right down and opened the door, and when she opened the door, we saw only steps, just stairs.
Big staircase.
We were like, She looked at us, we looked at her, and there was quite a bit of silence for a second, and she was like, "Oh, you have quite a lot of bags." We were like, "Yeah." She was like, "It's on the 3rd floor, sorry, there's no elevator." So we had to make several trips to come get our bags.
And also, if you've ever visited France or even Europe, the staircases are narrow.
Oh, yeah.
They're small, so not only were the bags heavy, but they're also really bulky.
Yeah.
And we're already weak from dragging them everywhere.
Yeah.
So lugging them up all of those stairs was wild.
Yeah, that was a crazy time.
And also, not to mention that once we got into the Airbnb, there was another staircase to our room.
Yeah, because their apartment was a 2-story apartment, so we had to take our suitcases even up another set of stairs inside the apartment. But we weren't too worried because we thought, hey, this is a nice Airbnb. We knew that they had cats, which they advertised on Airbnb.com. And we were really excited about that because
we love cats.
And after a little while being in the apartment, I started to wheeze. I was like wheezing and I didn't know why. So I would like open up the window, stick my head out, get some fresh air and be fine. But it got like progressively worse. And by the last night we spent there, I really thought I might not be able to breathe. Like I was wheezing.
I had
really
the
bad.
emergency number like typed in my phone. I was like, I couldn't sleep. I was just watching him like, are you alive?
It was crazy. So, I mean, we chalked it up to maybe I'm actually allergic to cats, but it's just so weird because I've interacted with cats before and that's never happened to me, so I don't know.
But we would definitely recommend the Airbnb. The hosts are super
sure.
nice. The view is incredible. There's a picture on our last blog post if you want to go check that out. But yeah, I mean, 10 out of 10. I really liked it there. So moving on to October, at the very beginning of the month, we had TAPIF orientation. So all of the language assistants in our whole academy came together and we had a 2-day, I think it was, 2-day training. 2 days. We kind of met everyone, got to know some of the other assistants near and far in our little academy. And we also met some people who work for the Board of Education. Yeah. And we learned about teaching a little bit, learned a bit about how to do the administrative things like getting your healthcare squared away and all the important things. Yeah, they even had a couple surprises for us. We got to go to the education board building and we had some champagne and even had some little biscuits and cookies and things, so that was nice. They even gave us something that's called a pass éducation, which allows people with that pass to get into basically all the public museums in the whole country for free. Don't have to wait in line, anything like that. And yeah, we got to tour the town hall, which was really nice. So it was really great. I'm not sure what other academies did for their orientation, but the Academy of Reims did a great job. And the next day we got started teaching. Yep. Yeah? We went to our schools for the first time, did some observation in the classroom to kind of see, how the students are, what teachers do in schools in France. We met a lot of teachers. At my school, I know I met teachers. I don't know if... Oh yeah, I met all sorts of teachers, not just the English ones either, like just teachers from all sorts of disciplines. It was kind of funny because obviously we speak French well, but a lot of times the English teachers will speak English with us because they like to practice their English. But when you meet a science teacher, for example, they obviously don't speak English. So they're like super excited to meet you because you're American. So it's pretty fun to meet a math teacher, you know what I mean? Or a science teacher. Yeah. So the next thing we have is the end of October / beginning of November. This was our first break from school. So we taught for 2 weeks and immediately went on vacation. We love France. So it was called Toussaint, which is All Saints. Yep, All Saints Day. All Saints Day happens within the 2-week break, so they call it the All Saints Day vacation. Right. So on this vacation, we planned our first little trip outside of where we live, and we went to Clermont-Ferrand, which is a city, right? It's in the middle of France and towards the south. So maybe I'll put up on the screen like a map so you can see exactly where it's located in relation to where we are. But we had a great time. We visited the cathedral, a couple of museums. We went into a nice big park. Yep. We also visited the Basilica. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We put it in the GPS, okay, because we're in a city, obviously, that we have no idea where anything is. That seems to just be the case all the time. But anyways, we finally made it there. And the Basilica is situated in this sort of like deep valley thing. Like you can walk around it on the streets, but you have to find where the stairs are that go down to where the Basilica entrance is. And so we saw it from above and we were like, okay, we see some people going in. How do we get to where they're going in? We were wondering. So we saw where people were coming from and we were like, okay, we'll just go around the church and go over there.
And we went around and we couldn't find it. We were like, maybe this is it. We found a door.
Yeah, so we found like a little entrance and it had hours, and we were like, this seems legit. Yeah. So we walked up there and there's like maybe 5 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
And so we got all the way up there and we were like, this is not the church. It was like almost like an observation tower where you could like see the roof of the church, and it had some information about it. It was really pretty, but not at all we were looking for. We were trying to go inside the church.
Yeah.
So we got all the way up there. We enjoyed it for like 5 minutes, and we were like, okay, back to square one. We still don't know how to get it.
Yeah. We ended up finally finding where the entrance was. We got down there and we start to hear like singing coming from inside the church, and we were like, okay. So the hours say that they're open for visiting and stuff like that, but there's literally a mass going on right now. We checked the church's mass hours online, and what's happening is not in those hours.
Right.
So we were like, okay, should we enter?
Yeah, like, do we just walk in on this?
Yeah.
Like,
and we were thinking like, I mean, the people having mass here must know that this is a big tourist attraction. People must just go in, but we were kind of too scared. So we just...
we didn't want to be rude. We didn't want to interrupt and like take our big cameras in there and like take pictures of them like in the church, like worshiping.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause we wanted to take video and pictures and everything, so we tried to be respectful. We stayed outside of the church for a while, took some pictures outside of, you know, the basilica and the surrounding area. And then the singing stopped, and we were like, okay, cool. And we went in, and it was really pretty, nice, very nice basilica. Just like most of them are in France, or if not all of them. Like, it's just so interesting to go inside those cathedrals and basilicas and stuff. And everything's so old. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty.
But yeah, so that was one of our strange moments of the Clermont-Ferrand trip that we had. So the last thing that we have to talk about is our trip to Paris. Around the middle of November, I think it was, we had a friend from college who is studying abroad in England right now.
Shout out to Colleen. We love you.
Salute Colleen. She came over to France because, I mean, it's not like it's super far from England, so she came over. We hosted her for a night, and then we headed off to Paris. We saw the Eiffel Tower, we saw the Arc de Triomphe, we saw the Seine, of course, and
the Galerie Lafayette.
Oh yeah, the Galerie Lafayette. It's a really big shopping center. I mean, they have super high-end brands like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, all that type of stuff, and then regular stuff as well. So that was really nice. I bought one thing. I bought a book.
I bought a tote bag because I love Hello Kitty.
So Hello Kitty was actually having their 45th anniversary, like celebrating 45 years of existence for Hello Kitty, and they were doing this like collaboration with Galerie Lafayette, where they had like a temporary boutique.
Pop-up shop, yeah.
There was all kinds of Hello Kitty merch.
Yes.
And so Maria got a bag. Yes. She has it right here.
I got this tote bag.
45th anniversary, Hello Kitty in the Eiffel Tower.
I think it's just so cute, and I love Hello Kitty. So I was really excited to get that.
Yeah.
It was funny because it was literally like 10 3-year-olds and then me. But I had a good time.
I'll throw up a picture of Maria and having a blast at the Hello Kitty thing. And, you know, we were at Galerie Lafayette with myself, Maria, and Colleen. And Colleen also bought a book. And we were going up to the cash register. We were like, talking amongst ourselves, but kind of non-verbally. Like we know each other really well, so we can just kind of look at each other and we know what we're thinking. Anyways, we were basically thinking to each other, if we need to help Colleen with this interaction in French, we will do so.
Right, like we were chatting, but also keeping an ear out, like listening to what the cashier was saying, making sure they didn't ask me anything complicated, like making sure that we didn't like leave Colleen
to flounder.
Yes, exactly.
So Colleen goes up to the cash register and the cashier asks her, do you want a bag? But at like lightning speed.
You know, how French people talk quickly.
How anyone talks. Like when you're speaking your native language, you're just talking like it's super fast. And to someone who doesn't understand the language, it's almost impossible to understand you. Okay? Or it is impossible. Anyways, Colleen...
And so I'm like inching towards Colleen so that I can intervene and be like, no, she doesn't need a bag. But like as soon as I open my lips to say no, she doesn't need a bag, Colleen responds in perfect French, no, that's okay, thanks.
Yeah, she just starts speaking French and we're like, were you gonna tell us that you spoke French?
It was so nonchalant.
Yeah, I was like,
so crazy. You understood that? And she was like, what do you mean? Yeah. Like, okay. She's extremely smart and extremely humble. We should have really expected it, honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, it was a good time. I still think about it and giggle.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was funny.
Yeah. Alright, so that's all we have for our little 3-month recap. We'll be doing this, I think, every month from now on. So stay tuned for those videos. Please make sure to take the time to subscribe to the channel if you like this video and check out our other videos as well. We also have social media, Instagram, Twitter, and our website. Please check those out as well and give us a follow. If you have ever been to Paris or Clermont-Ferrand or even Troyes where we live, let us know in the comments below. Tell us what you like visiting, and if you haven't been to these places yet, do you want to go? Let us know in the comments. Tell us what you'd like to visit. Until next time, I guess we will sign off here. Bye.
Bye. Yeah,